Hello and welcome to Box Office Chat, the weekly show from Movie Burner Entertainment where we discuss the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. This is for the weekend 14th to 16th of September 2018, and joining me as ever is Stephen. What have we got at number 1 this week? It's a new release.
Yeah, number 1 this week, John, is The Predator, Shane Black's Predator that is, and it's coming in its first week over the weekend, 2.4 million. Quite good actually, considering what we've been hearing from this film from abroad.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this film, Stephen. Obviously Shane Black's hired a good friend of his who was involved in some nefarious incidents back in the day, shall we say, involving an underage, a minor. He's a registered sex offender, and this has got the backs up of quite a few people, most notably the lead female actress in the film, Olivia Munn. She had a scene with him. She discovered this issue from back in the day, and then she raised concerns. The studio deleted the scene, but it's obviously mud sticks and it's caused a bit of an issue for this film. Certainly when you look at the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, 34% from the critics, just 26% from the top critics and 47% from the audience. That would suggest that this has affected this film quite a bit. It's a bit like the Kevin Spacey incident with the Billionaire Boys Club. Nobody went to see the film because of the controversy surrounding the main man himself, Kevin, who's also a bit of a beast himself. But listen, I went to see this film, Stephen, because I was looking forward to it. I recall was speaking about this in numerous shows, both more recently and back in the main Movie Burner podcast back in the day when we were doing that. I say back in the day, it was only a few months ago. I'm talking like it was 10 years ago. But yes, I did. I went and seen this film, Stephen. I'm not going to get too much into it. I'll just read through my summary of the film itself. I'm trying on take 10 minutes here. But I says, I thought Shane Black did a good enough job of blending the action and the comedy to give us an entertaining affair. The characters weren't particularly well developed, but each had their own moments. The film was a gore fest and it focused much more on the predators themselves than ever before. I liked the dialogue in parts. The jokes were pretty good, especially from Keegan-Michael Key's character. He was quite funny. I thought the film though was muddy in the story department and all over the place in terms of cuts and editing in the final act. I thought the Traeger character, who was played by Sterling K. Brown, he did a bit of exposition in the late second act, beginning of the final act. And if he hadn't done that, he basically went through what the predators, why they were here, they were watching them, how they were sports hunters, they were wanting to colonise the earth and stuff like that because they realised that humanity was going to meet an end through climate change. So they were trying to mix their DNA with human genome so they could settle on earth once it became a gas house, a runaway gas house, whatever the hell they call it. And if he hadn't been through that exposition, I wouldn't have had a clue what the actual story was about. I thought the visuals were okay, but at the end it got a bit crazy with the bigger predator. Went a bit crap, but overall not a terrible film, not a great film, Stephen. Missed a figure of Arnie's stature. The main guy, Boyd Holbrook, Quinn McKenna, he just lacked something for me. I think myself, I said to you before we came on, I think the criticisms this film's getting and the why it's not doing so well in terms of critical responses because of three main reasons. Butthurt fans of the original film that are not happy, over sense of liberals that are fuming at a guy with Tourette's being used as the butt of some jokes in the film. And then finally, as I did mention, people getting on a moral high horse, galloping around over the whole Shane Black sexual offender friend thing. So I don't understand it myself because I actually thought the film was okay. It was a middling to average to semi-good action film. It had amazing action sequences, amazing gore. The moment where the predator was wreaking utter chaos in the lab, that was an amazing scene for me. It lasted for about 2.5 minutes and it was amazing. Just the power, the way he was splattering people, slicing, killing them, flinging them all over the place, incredible. So all in all, I don't think they're judging it in the main on the cinematic artistic side. I think it's more about what's going on off the screen. I enjoyed the film. I'm not surprised it's opened at number 1, Stephen.
Yeah, it's 6 out of 10 on IMDb, John, which is probably, from your description, about right for this type of movie. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of people out there who can't see past the original 1987 one. I probably do fall into that category myself to an extent. I remember when the first one came out in 87, thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the things that I liked about it, and I think a lot of people liked about it, was the Predator's reveal and his powers and stuff like that. That was, in that first movie. I think once you're by that, that it's a bit of a one-trick pony, that sort of camouflage that he uses, that armour. It's definitely in the 1990 Predator 2 movie. Funnily enough, I see Jake Busey's in this movie. His dad was in the Predator 2, Gary Busey. the second one didn't really appeal to me. It was an okay film, but it wasn't a patch on the original. And then you've got the other ones like Alien versus Predator. Okay. And then the one that came out, I think maybe about 7-8 years ago, The Predator, or The Predators, I think that was called. It was okay. So it's just one of those franchises. It's never going to beat the original, if we're being honest with ourselves. No. But I don't think this is what Shane Black's attempting to do here. No. He's just tried to give the franchise a much needed boost. Yeah. And this is a film that I will go and see. I do like the creature. I do like what they've done with it, from what I've seen in the trailers, etc. And it's just a film, I think, don't take it too seriously. I did read that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Shane Black was trying to get him back to reprise his role in some way, but Arnie decided to decline the offer and stick with this new Terminator film that's going to be coming out in a few years' time. So my assumption is, John, that this has no links to the original movie, is that right?
Well, I think the link, Stephen, as I did say, was that bit of exposition from the Sterling K. Brown character, where he hints that the government have been watching the predators coming and to and from the earth. Mm-hmm. They've realised they're sports hunters. They like to rip spines out and stuff like that. That's the only real connection that I remember. But as you did say, Stephen, don't take the film too seriously. I did see another comment from a certain reviewer. I can't remember where it was from, and they hit the nail on the head. You go into this film, taking it for what it is. It's a light-hearted action film. It's like a B movie with a big money production and cast. It did some great callbacks, as you do recall. Shane Black was in the original Predator film, and he did some great callbacks. The Olivia Munn character says, "You beautiful motherfucker," when she first sees it. Also a play on Arnold's words at the end of the first film, "You ugly motherfucker." And then there was another moment as well where they're shouting, "Get to the choppers," they see motorbikes. So there's moments like that. The setting of the woods going into the city, that's mimicking the first two films. I thought he'd done some great callbacks. It was a homage to the whole 80s, 90s ridiculousness that surrounded much of the action films, and I thought it was a alright film, all in all. In terms of the overall box office worldwide, $94.9 million off of an $88 million budget, so it's not made a profit. I don't think it will, judging on the reaction from certain people. People are either hating the story or something, or they're just not going because of this controversy, which is a shame because it's not the worst film I've seen by any means.
We're just going to move on now to number 2 this week in the box office, John. It was number 1 last week, didn't hold that spot too long, and that is The Nun, and it's grossed another 1.8 million over the weekend, grossing overall 7.7 million.
Yes, 7.7 million is not too bad for this film, Stephen. As I did say last week, bit of a disappointment. You can see it as well with the ratings, 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes, 27% from all critics, 33 top, 44 from the audience. I think that's a reflection, an accurate reflection on this film. Very disappointing film. It's meant to be a continuation of the Conjuring universe. Sadly, it's not a patch on them. It's not got the intelligent storytelling and little things they do at the end, but everything interconnects and stuff, which is a shame because it's a very intriguing antagonist. It's an amazing looking antagonist, very scary, but they did what they did with It earlier last year, where they take an intriguing concept, an intriguing character, and they water it down by using all these different things like mummies and rotten corpses and a withered away old Mother Superior who crunches her neck. That's the only disturbing bit in the film. They did that with it with the zombie and all this stupid crap. Instead of just giving us Pennywise, they don't give us the nun enough in this film.
Yeah, some horror films do that though, John, where they've got a good idea. Yeah. And in this case, the nun, and they kind of ruin it by doing these subplots or, they go off in different directions and stuff like that. Sometimes the reveal itself in a horror film, being too early in the movie, kills the movie as well. We saw that in the likes of Jeepers Creepers. Yeah. The first 5-10 minutes of that film is terrifying, and then when we actually get to meet this supernatural being, he's not as scary once you actually get to see him. Yeah. And sometimes having, I think that's the way Michael Myers was handled in those first Halloween films. You didn't get to see him a lot. That's why I was quite surprised with the trailer when we actually get to see his point of view in the trailer. That's something I'm not used to. But in this case, you're right. The promotion of this film, certainly not here. I don't think the promotion here was that great. But worldwide, they've got this character, very interesting character in The Nun. And as you said, they've went off the rails a little bit with the storytelling, which I'm very surprised about. We talked about it last week. Very surprised to see James Wan as one of the writers, because he's normally a very consistent and a very good writer. I'm not saying it's all his fault or anything like that, the film's the way it's came out, but I'm just very surprised at his writing qualities. This is the best they could do with it.
Yeah, it was just disappointing, Stephen. There wasn't a lot of scares in there. They seemed to utilise sound for the most part. Disappointing. Certainly because I've been hearing, I heard reasonable things about Corin Hardy as well as a director. This is really the first film I think I've seen of his. I don't think I'll be watching any more after it. If this is an example of what he's capable of. As you did say, though, he's a young director, so I'll give him a bye. But $292.59 million worldwide off of a $22 million production budget. It's well and truly made a profit. And to be fair to them, I think maybe they have worked it down a bit with the eye in making a sequel, because they do leave open-ended at the end. I think it's the Frenchy character and the young nun go off at the end of the film, and you see the upside-down cross, and then they go into a whole montage showing you that this is meaning he's been possessed. So they've left it open-ended. So who knows, maybe the second Nun film will be better.
I'm just going to move on to number 3, John. This is a movie that we've known about for probably about a month now. We've been hearing all these things about it. It's in its first week here. It's Crazy Rich Asians, and it's grossed 1.6 million over the weekend. Yeah,
it has, Stephen. Which is not too bad for a film which obviously featuring a heavily Asian cast. I did read here somewhere that this is the first film in 20 odd years it's got predominantly a completely Asian cast, as you'd expect from the title, Crazy Rich Asians. That'd be false advertising if it wasn't. But it's about a contemporary romantic comedy based on a global bestseller, and it follows a native New Yorker, Rachel Chu, to Singapore to meet her boyfriend's family. Apparently it's very funny. I don't know any of the cast members, I can't lie. Maybe I do if I look down. One maybe rings a bell. Maybe Henry Golding, but out of that I've not seen any that really ring a bell to me. But yeah, I've not seen the film, I've not went to see it yet. Yeah, I can't lie, the 2 hour and 15-minute running time for a rom-com put me off a bit. Don't know why, it's actually only 2 hours, so I'm talking crap. But it put me off. Rom-coms usually aren't my thing anyway, but I may go and watch this film just purely because some of the reviews have said that it's very good. Rotten Tomatoes, critics score 93%, top critics score 95%, audience rating 82%. That's equivalent of an average rating of 4.2 out of 5. That is very, very good indeed. And you look at some of the reviews, the result was hugely enjoyable, and a hooray for Hollywood for making it happen. Feels blithely liberated from the obligation to offer up suffering that has long been part of the implicit bargain made with so many mainstream movies. That's a mouthful, but my God, they're saying that the characters are of colour and that they're treated as marketable in relation to the pain they portray. I don't know what the hell that means, Stephen, but apparently it's very good.
Yeah. John M. Chu, the director, John, I only know him from the Now You See Me sequel. I think he's actually penned in for the third movie as well. I'm not sure he did. I don't think he did the first movie. He's the only name in that cast and crew that I recognise. I don't know who Henry Golding is, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of pop videos as well. So I don't know if there's any music in this film or not. I'm not sure what it is, other than it is a rom-com, whether or not it's got some music in there as well. But
I've got to be honest with you, Stephen, looking at his backstory, I think I've maybe seen Henry Golding probably from the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, who I watch all the time on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, it's a name you've probably picked up, John, but you're right. As I said, it's 7.5 out of 10, in 25,000 reviews. Mm-hmm. And as I said, this was more word of mouth over YouTube, etc., Twitter, with people in the US already seen this movie, giving it, pretty good ratings, good reviews. And like you, it's not my favourite genre, rom-coms, but it's certainly one, it's 19 theatres here in Glasgow actually, so it's widespread. It's quite good for a film of this genre. And it's a film I probably will catch up with at some point. It's not at the top of my list, but it's getting good ratings, and films that get good ratings do catch my eye. Yeah,
$30 million production budget. Total worldwide gross is currently sitting at $206.4 million, so it's more than made a profit. I'll read out a couple of better reviews before I move on, Stephen, because that one from Alison Wilmore from BuzzFeed News, apparently a top critic, was just utter incoherent nonsense to me. I couldn't make it out. I was reading it out word for word as I was going along, and I'm like, what the hell is this saying? But the review down's better from What the Flick. This movie is totally delightful. It's a wonderful mix of old-fashioned screwball comedy, romantic comedy, and it's almost a musical at some point. So there you go. You says, is it a musical? It certainly seems like there's some musical elements in there. Another one says it tells an endearing story in an exceptional way. So, all in all, I probably will give it a watch, even though it's not usually my cup of tea, that sort of a genre. But we're going to move on to number 4, and it's King of Thieves. It's a new release, and it's grossed £1.53 million, and it's opening weekend, shown in 494 theatres.
This comes in from director James Marsh, who did The Theory of Everything, John. That's who I know him from.
Yes.
And it's got a great cast. When you look at it, heading that cast is Michael Caine, fantastic actor, legend.
Yes.
Charlie Cox, our very own Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
Yep.
He's in there too. Michael Gambon, Ray Winston, Jim Broadbent, Paul Whitehouse. The list goes on. This is a who's who of British actors, basically.
Yeah.
And this film is about a crew of retired crooks who pull off a major heist in London's jewellery district. What starts off as their last criminal hooray quickly turns into a brutal nightmare due to the greed, based on infamous true events.
Yes, I seem to recall this story, Stephen. I've not went to see it, but I have to tell you, I'm very intrigued by the concept and the story. Looking at the ratings, a little bit underwhelming, 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb. 33% critics, rating on Rotten Tomatoes, just 44% from the audience, so that's putting me off a little bit. But as you did say, an amazing cast. Michael Caine, love the guy, all the way back to Zulu and films like that. I've followed that guy's career since I was a young boy. Michael Gambon played Dumbledore in Harry Potter, and he's just got a whole host of Jim Broadbent as well, also in Harry Potter. So it's an incredible cast. That would maybe draw me in to watch this film, in spite of the poor and to middling reviews. Story's very intriguing. It kind of reminds me of another Michael Caine film I watched last year, Going in Style, which featured another very good cast, him, Alan Arkin and Morgan Freeman, and it was a similar concept, older people robbing a bank. So if it's anything like that, I'd probably give it a bash. That film didn't get great reviews either, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, so not got much more to add because I've not went to see the film. But it's an intriguing concept with a very strong cast, and I'd probably give it a watch just on that basis alone.
We're now moving into familiar territory here, John, because that's the last of the new releases for this week in the box office. Coming in at number 5 in its 5th week and grossing another £500,000. It's Christopher Robin, and that is grossing 13 million overall.
Yes, I think we're seeing this starting to drop down now. It's down 40.2% for this weekend, and it's down 20 theatres as well. When they start losing theatres, that's usually a bad sign. 12.98 million again after 5 weeks. I keep saying it every week, but that is so disappointing for a film of this standard. I thought it was a fantastic film. When you actually look at its total worldwide gross, $164.78 million. I don't know what the production budget is, but that's poor for a Disney release. I don't know why, why it's doing so poorly, because it's a very good film. I'm looking at the budget on IMDb, and apparently it's estimated at $75 million, so that ain't great. It's not made a massive profit by any means. But I do recall they were very late to push a trailer out for this. And there was only 2 trailers, so they've not really pushed with the promotional side. Maybe they knew in themselves that this wasn't a film that was going to do well at the box office. They're not worrying Disney. They've made about $2 billion already this year from Infinity War, Black Panther and Ant-Man, a whole host of other releases, Incredibles 2. So this was always going to be a smaller release in the wider scheme of things. I thoroughly enjoyed the film, as I've said, week in, week out. Ewan McGregor was incredible. I loved all the stuffed toy characters, Winnie, the Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore. I thought they were authentically put to the screen, and I thought it was a great performance from the main man himself, Ewan. Yeah,
John, I've not got much more to say than that. It was a film that after the second week I knew it would start to peter out. And as you said, I don't think Disney are going to be up all night worrying about this one. No. I think it's done its job. But we're just going to move on to number 6 this week, and it's 9th week. This is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and Here We Go Again. Yes, and it's grossed another 500,000 over the weekend, 63.9 million overall, just under £64 million here in the UK. That's quite impressive, John. Yeah, and unlike Disney's Christopher Robin, this is up 10 theatres this weekend. What the hell's going on there? But it's dropped 32.7%, and it is dropping down the box office slowly but surely, but who knows? King of Thieves and The Predator may drop like stones, and it'll work its way back up again. That's certainly what it was like with The Greatest Showman last year. That bloody film was in the box office for about... This year? Christ, I've lost the plot. Yeah, you're right, it was this year, Stephen. There you go. I've tried to blank it out of my mind. It was in the box office for about 18 weeks. Jesus Christ. And the soundtrack is still floating around. I heard it on Radio 1 the other day. It's still, there's songs
in the top 40 of the UK box office.
If you're going to make a film, John, you might as well make a musical.
That's
it's
it. That's
box office material
And
these days.
it was Hugh Jackman. So I love Hugh, so I'm not too bothered about that. Not many in this film I love, can't lie. Meryl Streep, great actress, love her. Colin Firth's in there. Not a massive fan of Colin Firth. Julie Walters, I like her. I've not seen this film, as you can tell. And as you probably said a couple of weeks back, Stephen, Meryl Streep dies. So she's only in it at the end. So there's not a huge draw there for me. No, I'm not going to go and watch this film now. But listen, total box office worldwide, $387.7 million off of a $75 million budget. That is outstanding. So hats off to everyone involved with that film, because they're on to a winner. And Aber will be happy because they're coming back later in the year for a bloody comeback to her. So, yay!
I don't think they need the money anyway, John.
No, they don't.
Yeah, Al Parker will be delighted. He's the director of this movie. I don't even think the director of this film would have expected such a turnout for this movie. But we're going to move on, John, to number 7 this week. It's BlacKkKlansman in its 4th week, and it's grossed another £400,000 over the weekend, grossing overall $5.4 million.
Yes, 4 weeks in, down 46.5% this weekend. Down 80 theatres after 4 weeks, only showing in 389 theatres. Yeah, I mean, it's done its work here, Stephen, really. £5.4 million after 4 weeks. For a film of this nature, a very American-centric film, a period piece set in the 70s about, obviously, left and right, the KKK and also the liberal black power left side of things. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. You look at the audience scores, very, very high on Rotten Tomatoes. You look on IMDb, again, very high, 7.8 out of 10. And I thought it was an amazing film from Spike Lee, produced, maybe even executive produced by Jordan Peele, written by Charlie Wachtel and David Rabinowitz. I just love making life hard for myself by saying those names. But it was a fantastic film. I thought the story was amazing. It had a great blend of seriousness, drama, with humour. And the humour came mostly from the character of Ron Stallworth, Flip Zimmerman and Felix Kendrickson. They were the 3 main characters that brought the humour. Jasper Pakenham was amazing, I did say that before, alongside Adam Driver and John David Washington. And I have to give a memorable shout out to Alec Baldwin as well for that opening 2-minute monologue where he's just utterly deranged and he's going off about black people and how they're diluting society. They will need to get back to the good Protestant values they had before. But all in all, thoroughly enjoyed the film.
Yeah, and it's doing what a Spike Lee film does, John. Certainly here in the box office, it is. It's one of those films that are going to have a cult following than anything. Certainly, fans of Spike Lee will enjoy this. I thought it was a great film, but it's doing what it's doing. In its 4th week, I think it'll probably be out the top 10 maybe in the next couple of weeks. I think it might hang in there for another 1 week, but we'll see. We're just going to move on to number 8. It's Incredibles 2. It's grossed another $300,000 over the weekend, grossing overall $54.7 million in 10 weeks. Very impressive stuff.
Yes, incredible. Some would say 54.6 million. Yeah, pardon the pun. 54.6 million after 10 weeks is just an amazing performance. Not Mamma Mia, here we go again, amazing, but an amazing performance nonetheless. Total worldwide gross now sitting just shy of $1.2 billion. There's a 50-50 split practically between domestic and foreign. Domestic in this case being the United States and foreign markets. Off of a budget of $200 million, that has more than made a profit. As I said earlier, another Disney release, they're not caring at this stage. They're rolling in money. They're literally lying in beds of money. Amazing film though. Much better than the original for me. Oh, maybe exaggerating, the original was fantastic, but it's better than the original. Took all the concepts you loved and improved upon it. Great humour, great visuals, great action, great CGI, just a great film in general.
Yep, and it's a great film that's going to hopefully have another sequel, John. And I don't think we're going to have to wait 14 years for that one, but Brad Bird should be very proud of his work. I think he did the right thing hanging around till he had the right story for the sequel. Not a lot of directors do that. Not a lot of studios would allow a director to do that. They want to rake the money in while it's hot. Well, they didn't. They waited 14 years and it's surpassed the original. So there you go.
Yes.
There's a lesson to be learned there. But number 9 this week is Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. It's grossed another $300,000 over the weekend, grossing overall $18.4 million in 8 weeks, John.
Yes, I've still not went to see it. I don't think I'm going to go and see it. I don't think I'm ever going to go and see it, Dean, because I've not seen the first 2 films. But £18.4 million. As I keep saying, for a middling level animated film, is very impressive indeed. It must have something. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that director's name, Tartakovsky or whatever the hell it is, but hats off to him, hats off to Adam Sandler and the usual gang that follow him in just about every release he does. What a wide gross, over $500 million now, off of an $80 million production budget. That is just outstanding, no matter which way you dress it up. Not much more to add, I haven't seen it, but fair play. I think it's, as I did say last week, shirking the usual trend for franchises, and it's getting better and better as it goes on. It's performing better than the other two films. I think it's lopsided. The first one done less, the second one done better, third one done even more.
Yeah, it's just following a trend of sequels, John.
Yeah.
It has a follow-on very early on, so the third one's going to have a good turnout for it, especially this time of year, or I should say, 2 months ago now, when it, we were in the summer. Certainly not
coming out this time of year.
Yeah, so it's certainly not in the summer now. It's dark outside here in Glasgow,
Sadly.
and we're only at 10 o'clock. When this film came out, the sun wasn't going down till about 11:30, but there you are. So we're on to number 10 now, John. Final film this week in the box office, and it's The Meg. Remember when that was number 1 6 weeks ago?
Yes.
And it's grossed another 300,000 over the weekend, and overall 15.5 million.
Yes, and overall it's going to be out the top 10 very shortly, because it's down 58.7% in this week's showing, and it's down 121 theatres. That is absolutely gargantuan, and it's going to be gone soon. But listen, hats off to it. $516.4 million worldwide performance off of a $130 million production budget. This is just the usual shark film. Absolutely silly in every way, shape or form. It's got amazing action set pieces. It's visually stunning. It's very much a Jason Statham-led film. This film wouldn't have done anywhere near the numbers it's done if it wasn't for your man Statham, who leads the film with utter ease as Jonas Taylor. As I did say, almost like a Star Wars film in parts at the end, with the way the little submersibles are zipping around the water. The Meg was never really a hide behind your sofa type antagonistic figure. Never really scared me at any point, but listen, it's a worthy addition to the shark sub-genre. I'm very glad to see that it's done well, because it was a film that I went to see twice at the cinema, and it's a film that I get a great deal of enjoyment out of as a closet shark film fan. And I don't think you've got anything else to add to it, Stephen, so that is going to be us reached the end of this week's episode of Box Office Chat, where we break down the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us once again, and we'll be back tomorrow with Movie Burner News.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.